Now imagine, it's a Saturday morning. The sun is shining. It's a day off work. You want to kick back. You want to lie down. You want to get your favorite summer's drink. What's everybody's favorite summer's drink? For me, probably a lemonade. Bro, a lemonade? Don't get me started. Lemonade, Fanta, fruit twist. Can't go wrong. Anyways, you want to kick back and then you see the breaking news. Thiago Motta has just done an interview. What? An interview? Listen, whenever a manager gets sacked and they go to the cameras and they share what they have to say, I'm always intrigued. And I feel like God put me on earth to react to these videos. So, Thiago Motta, long story short, has reacted to a few of the statements that were made when he was sacked. He's reacted to a few of the things that were said about him. Some were true, some were lies. Let's look into it. Now, one of the first things he was asked was everybody's favorite. Did he really try to motivate, push Kenan Yildiz's buttons in his training by telling him, hey, hermano, you are not Messi. You are not Messi. Did he tell him that? Thiago Motta responded, did I tell Yildiz not to feel like Messi? This never happened. I never said such a thing to Kenan. Yildiz is a young player with enormous potential. He started many games for us because he earned it. When I benched him, it was to protect him during inevitable dips in form. What do I make of this? Now, I'll be honest with you guys. I feel like there's no smoke without fire. Because why is the comparison to Messi? He could have easily turned around and said to him, listen, you're not Del Piero. Fair enough, you've got the number 10 shirt, but you're not Del Piero. I'm just sat telling myself, why specifically Messi? I think there's definitely some truth behind this, but I feel like maybe it wasn't his intentions to try and annoy the kid, or maybe it wasn't his intentions to try and use it in the wrong way. I feel like maybe he was saying it as a joke, and some players, or maybe even Kenan, took it the wrong way. And listen, at the end of the day, sometimes you can crack an amazing joke. But if your tone and the way you carry yourself is wrong, if you carry yourself in a negative way, that joke can come across very disrespectful. Some people might think you were even being serious. I don't agree with him. Or let's just say, I don't believe him when he says, I never said such a thing. I think there's definitely truth behind the Kenan, you're not Messi. But I think it all comes down to what his intentions were, what his purpose was. I think he said it as a joke, but he delivered it in a very bad / negative / wrong way. And maybe the players in the squad and Kenan took it as literally, you're not Messi. So it reminds me like when I was in school. They used to always turn around and tell me, you're not Totti. And then I would always respond and be like to them, who on God's earth is Totti, bro? I'm better than Totti. Anyways, that's a story for another day. Let's get on to the next question. Now this one is my favorite. He was asked about Koopmeiners, the persistence in starting him, who wanted him, what the future held for Koopmeiners. They asked him on Koopmeiners' form, and Thiago Motta responded, he was burdened by high expectations from the start. His hefty price tag increased the weight on him. Once expectations normalize and he adapts to his role, he'll return to his best. I love this one. I just love the last part, which is once expectations normalize. I don't believe in that. Maybe you do. I don't. When it comes to football, I don't believe in expectations normalizing, mainly because you've got those high expectations for a reason. So as a fan, somebody that watches Calcio, somebody watches Serie A, somebody watches Atalanta, the reason why you've got those expectations of Koopmeiners is because you've seen what he can do in the league, week in, week out, home, away. You've seen what he can do. Expectations will never ever normalize. Expectations will go down. So there's a massive difference between expectations normalizing and going back down to a neutral level, because I felt like Thiago Motta was trying to make it sound like the expectations were inflated because of the price tag. No, the expectations were inflated. The expectations were high because this is a dude that was getting 20 GA seasons. This is a dude that was a wanted property at Atalanta. This is a dude that Atalanta were dying to keep. So when you take all of those things into consideration, on top of the fact that we watch the games, we watch what he done at Atalanta, we watch what he done on an international level, Of course the expectations are going to be high. If you're a top player that's performing to the best of your ability on a consistent of basis, the expectations will be high. The best of players, they can maintain and they can live up to the expectations. For him to come out and say, once the expectations are normalized, he'll go back to his best, I took it as him saying, once the expectations go back down. But they're not going back down because they were inflated for no reason. No, they were inflated for a valid reason. And the fact that Koopmeiners has shown he can't continue to perform on a consistent of basis to a high level, that says a lot about the player. I've questioned his mentality many times. It says a lot about the player. Expectations don't normalize. Expectations, they go down season after season, game after game. At the beginning of the season, I was defending Koopmeiners. I don't even want to see Koopmeiners starting now. That's how bad it is, because I'm like, my expectations were mega high because of what he done in Atalanta. But the reason why my expectations now are mega low is because of how I've seen him perform. That's all it is. So expectations normalizing, I don't agree with that, because nobody inflated them for no reason. And nobody is going to normalize / take down their expectations for no reason. The reason why I feel like all have now low expectations of Koopmeiners is because of his performances. And the reason why we had high expectations of Koopmeiners, once again, is because of his performances. So expectations normalizing and then he'll return to his best. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that in any way possible. But that's what Thiago Motta had to say. Next, Thiago Motta was asked about the Coppa Italia exit to Empoli and the Champions League defeat to PSV. And he had this to say. That performance wasn't Juventus worthy. I took responsibility first. There were no excuses. The players felt the disappointment too. Injuries and a packed schedule forced rotations. I always prioritize winning, even if not every decision was perfect. Do I agree with this? No, I don't. Because, you see, in terms of him being disappointed because of the performances against Empoli and the performances against PSV, I don't agree with those, because I still remember the press conference afterwards where he came out and said, this was a good performance. We played well. I think he also said something along the lines of, I wouldn't change anything else from this performance. That's not a manager that's disappointed. Now, fair enough. When you're disappointed, you don't have to come out and throw your players under the bus or come out and be passive aggressive or in any way, but you need to still come out and express that disappointment. Listen, after PSV, Locatelli was more disappointed than Motta. And fair enough, some might say Motta, he was trying to be positive because he knows we've still got the Coppa Italia at the time. We've still got top 4. We've still got the Serie A. So maybe he's just trying to rally the troops, keep that motivation. But listen, being knocked out by a PSV team that went and got spanked, like, what was it, 10-1 on aggregate, you should be disappointed and you should hold players accountable. So for him to come out after the game and say, I wouldn't have changed those substitutions, I would have picked the same starting 11, and then to turn around and say I was disappointed, I don't really agree with it. Maybe, just maybe, he didn't share his honest opinion in his press conference after the game. But the one that I completely disagree with is where he says, I always prioritized winning. Bro, I'm a grown man, all right? Listen, I'm a grown man. I saw 3 defenders enter the pitch when Juventus were down 3-0 to Atalanta. That is not a manager that prioritizes winning. Don't lie to me on this hot summer's day on Saturday. I don't know, is it the 3rd or the 4th? I don't know what the date is. Don't lie to me, okay? Don't. Us Arabs, we don't like being lied to. Don't lie to me. Bro, Juventus were down to Fiorentina. I didn't see Dusan Vlahović. Whether you love him or hate him, I didn't see a striker that can score goals enter the frame. I didn't see Kenan Yildiz enter the frame. I was seeing defenders come onto the pitch. You know when defenders come onto the pitch and you're already being spanked and peppered? Do you know what it means? It means I'm happy to take the 3-0. But I'm just hoping and praying it doesn't become 4. I'm happy to take the 4-0. I'm just hoping and praying it doesn't become 5. No. Brave managers that want to win, even when they're 3-0 down, they'll bring on attackers. Now, of course, within reason, they bring on attackers because they're thinking this attacker can help me turn this game into 3-1. And then they can help me turn it into 3-2. Nah. I always prioritize winning at Juventus. No. I don't agree with that in the slightest. And finally, he was asked about his departure and the fact that Oli Mbangula actually really came out on social media and said, "Thank you, coach. Thanks for your time. Thanks for trusting me." Everybody else, quiet. He responded, "Social media distorts reality. What matters are private messages, which I received from many, even those I was strict with. These show genuine appreciation for our shared journey. Every choice I made aimed to strengthen Juventus. I'll carry these lessons forward." I don't really have much to say on this one. Like, at the end of the day, some players, some managers, some coaches, some fans, they like to put their messages to the public. Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. Some, they like to do it privately. I know in football teams, they've got the manager's coach. They've got a team group chat. Listen, some people, they might just send a message. "Listen, thanks a lot for your help. I appreciate your time. Adios, amigo." Some will go onto social media and do it. And in my opinion, I feel like it's a PR thing. I don't know, maybe I'm too old. I just feel like when you come out and make everything public knowledge, it becomes such a PR thing. And maybe it's because I watch a lot of the Premier League. Bro, players will go to the toilet and then they will put on a photo on Instagram. "Just went to the toilet. Guess what I done? Number 1 or number 2. That's what it is. With the Juventus camp, I'll be honest, this for me is a positive. The fact that if he actually did get messages from the players and they kept it privately, they kept it behind closed doors, it's actually a positive thing about these players' mentality where they don't want to be in the spotlight. They want to do things behind closed doors. They don't care about PR. For me, that's good, I'll be honest. Maybe you guys look at it in a different way. For me, it's good. Professional footballers, sometimes you need to keep things behind closed doors. Sometimes you need to keep things private. Don't give the media an opportunity to say things. And fair enough, it backfired because the media took it as the complete opposite, which is nobody messaged Thiago Motta. But the fact that the players deep down know they did and the manager knows that he received those messages, that's the most important thing. So for me, I don't really have a problem with that. But that's what Thiago Motta had to say. Now, I would genuinely love to hear you guys' opinions in the comments, and I will catch you guys on another one.